All right, coming to you live. It's a little bit after 5. Joined here with Krsna Tibbs. We don't care because we're hard workers, so we're just here bringing you some good content. So welcome to another live recording of the Managing Partners podcast. We're coming to you live on YouTube and LinkedIn. Facebook, I believe, is not available now at this time. So coming to you on LinkedIn and YouTube. If you have any questions along the way, please put those in the comments, and Kristen will be sure to answer your questions. I'm Kevin Daisy, host, and also the founder of Array Digital. We exist to help law firms fill their pipeline using digital marketing. So if you need that kind of help, please reach out. Go to arraylaw.com. Krsna, thanks so much for joining me. And I believe you're an hour behind. So is it only 4 o'clock there, right?
Actually, we're on Eastern Standard Time.
It
is 5 o'clock.
All right. Well, there you go. So he's a hard worker. After 5, he's still joining me. He just got back from the jail there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Of course, he wasn't in trouble. He's
No,
fine.
no. I was there visiting a client on a case that's set for a hearing tomorrow at 9.
Excellent. So, well, that kind of leads a little bit into what you do. But first question, I really want to learn your path to how you got to where you are, your journey, if you will, how you got into practicing law, and how you ended up to where you are today with your own firm.
Oh, well, thank you, Kevin, and thank you again for having me here on your show. My name is Krsna Tibbs, as you introduced. I'm an attorney here in solo practice in Louisville, Kentucky. My office is located downtown in Louisville, next to the historic Galt House Hotel and the Yum Center. If you're a sports fan, that's where the Louisville Cardinals play basketball, right here on Ohio River. I have practiced mainly in criminal defense and family law. I've been doing that for about criminal defense for 17 years, family law for 6 years. Prior to being in private practice, I was a supervisor at the public defender's office, where I was practicing there for 11 years. To answer your question, how I got into law, I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised, lived there until I was 20, moved here in 95-ish, and was a debate coach at the University of Louisville. And basically I got into law because the funny story is I'm older, so I'm 47. I was a big LA law fan, and in 8th grade I said I wanted to be like the people on TV because of the suits. I say, oh, Jimmy Smith wears a really cool suit, Blair Underwood wears nice suits, I want to do that. Had no idea what law was. Thought they wore cool suits and they get to have a lot of fun. So I said, oh, that's what I wanted to do. So I got into a pre-law program in high school. We were fortunate enough to be adopted through the Atlanta Bar Association, did mock trial, and we ended up doing really well. Kind of got hooked into it. And then in college, I got a scholarship to go to the University of Louisville from Atlanta. And then one thing led to law school, and then I got a job here at the public defender's office, and been practicing ever since.
That's awesome. So I like how I started with the cool suits. So
Yeah.
and whatever gets your interest going. But that's pretty funny. So I was talking to him before the show. Is it Louisville or Louisville? And I have some friends from Louisville, and I say Louisville now, but I thought that was interesting. You say Louisville, and your wife says Louisville, right?
Yes, and when I call people and they say you in Louisville, so we actually have a shirt here in town that has all the pronunciations: Louisville, 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 like 8 different pronunciations. Louisville. So there's various ways to say it, but the locals say it Louisville. So you're saying it correctly.
There you go. So everyone watching, if you take something away from this, that's how to pronounce Louisville. Louisville. Yeah, excellent. So I want to get some other questions about the firm and what you specialize in and what your focus is on. So give us a little background. Right now, as your firm stands, what do you spend most of your time? What's your focus? And where are you trying to really bring in, more cases to the pipe?
Well, when I initially started, I was mostly going to focus on criminal defense. That was about 80% of our practice back in 2015. I was in a law office where we had about 7 or 8 different criminal defense attorneys, and I was interested in family law. And the reason is that when I did public defender work, all my clients had family law issues, child support, custody issues. They were going through a divorce because of drug addiction, or they got in trouble. And so I said, I knew there was a market there. Had no idea. We got, people were giving me cases. And so 10 cases turned to 20, 20 turned to 30, 30 turned to 60. Next thing you know, I'm 60% family law. And so I also work in court as a GAL, which is a guardian ad litem for children, as well as a parent's attorney for parents who are charged in child cases. And that's in family court. And that is kind of gave me the bridge into that world. And so I do EPOs, which are restraining orders here in Kentucky, domestic violence orders, emergency protective orders, and those are done in family court. And so that's how I got into it. And for the most part, up until last year, we were primarily practicing in family law. I'm in a law office that has a number of other attorneys. Our firm mostly practices in family law, but last year things changed with Breonna Taylor and the protests. Louisville is ground zero, so to speak, for the protest because Breonna Taylor was here in town, and everything at the protest, the criminals just went through the roof, and that's pretty much, I think, how around the country has been. Our city is down about 200 police officers. And so generally we've gotten a lot more criminal calls. And so my criminal side of the practice has gone up probably twofold. And so I'm probably 60-40 in terms of just overall in terms of cases that on the criminal side. And so, but I still like that practice. I think family law is a crazy world, because there are some rules, but no one really follows the rules. There's evidence, but no one really looks at the evidence. And so you don't know what's going to happen on the family side. Whereas on the criminal side, I have a better sense of this is A, B, C, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to happen. And, it's much easier to determine. Plus, if you don't like what's going to happen and you don't like the judge, you can always have a jury trial. Whereas in family court, you're not entitled to a jury trial. So if you don't get along with the judge, well, you're kind of stuck with the judge and the rulings.
And that's an interesting take on it. It's not having that predictability or at least some familiarity with what's going to happen. I could see being an issue. So how are some of the ways? Obviously there's an increase. What's some of the ways that clients get a hold of you? What's some of the things you've done, marketing, SEO, website? What's some of the things that have worked well to get people in the door?
Well, if you can see, my name is Krsna, Krsna Tibbs. One of the advantages I have is that it's a unique name, and that I'm the only Krsna Tibbs that exists in the world. So there's only one Krsna Tibbs that I know of on Google, and that's me. There's only 2 Tibbs law offices on Google, and I have one here. And then there's there's another Tibbs law office in Cincinnati, no relations, and that's it. So generally how people get a hold of us is we have more reviews than anybody or any law firm in town. We have quite a few, and out of those, we have something like a 4.3 star rating out of 5. I've been fortunate enough to win several awards. We won the AVO Client Satisfaction Award for 2020. We won Distinguished Professional for Martindale Hubbell. We won Super Lawyer. We just got selected as Super Lawyers for 2020 and 2021. And so those things have been very helpful. Not to mention, besides the awards, awards are awards, but we've had a lot of clients say very nice things. They referred cases to us. And so we stand out on Google through our reviews, through the name. And I have spent quite a bit of time on SEO. I never heard of SEO 5 years ago. And then all of a sudden, that was the business side of this, where you have to kind of get your name out there. I've done Know Your Rights seminars on self-defense. Been involved in some broadcast here on things such as race and criminal law. Involved on family law. I'm on the Louisville Bar Association board. I've been on the Louisville Bar Association board, and so I've kind of been able to build a name and a brand that has taken about 5 or 6 years. And so we've been fortunate. We're doing pretty well in terms of phone calls and trying to manage the practice.
That's awesome. So actually, everyone tuning in, you can see Krsna's website down here. You can check that out, see what he's all about, see what he's been able to accomplish. For those listening too, I mean, a lot of things that he just said are important. One, you got to do good work. You get referrals. That's a number one, right? That's a golden rule right there. But having reviews, working on SEO, doing the things that are going to drive the people that aren't familiar with you to your site is super important. So yeah, check out his website and learn more about him and his story. So speaking of awards, but a little bit different is we were talking about this before the show. I was like, I'm a bourbon guy, and he's in Louisville, so I was like, I've been there before. I've done the bourbon trail, and I was like, it looks like some bottles of bourbon there behind you. So tell us a little bit more about what those are for, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm a bourbon guy too. I love old fashions. But behind me is, let's see, about 7 different bourbons, and then those are in front of some plaques. So when I was at the Louisville Public Defender's Office, they kind of throw you in. You either sink or swim. And so I was actually did well enough to where I was given a number of trials from Jump. And so each time you win a felony trial, and that's a complete acquittal. So it's not like, you could be charged with murder, assault, speeding ticket. If you don't beat the speeding ticket, you don't get a bottle. So you have to be acquitted all the way down the indictment, from all the way through. So each bottle behind me represents from 2004 to 2015 trials that I've had where people have been facing prison time, and I've gotten complete acquittals. And those are trials that I've handled by myself. So
that's awesome.
We have what's called a Walker Award dinner, and they have handed out those bottles. So those are really for show. As much as I like bourbon, I never open those. I have other bottles I open, but I won't open those because each one of those represent a particular trial, and it's a jury trial that you have to try to verdict. And so
that's super cool.
So over 11 years, I've had 7 of those, and then I probably had another 20 trials where I've had some good success, but didn't qualify as a bottle.
That's super cool. So Louisville just went up on my book as an awesome place to practice the law. So maybe when you're retired, you can open them up.
That's a good idea. Yes, when I retire, I'll probably finally open them up. If they're still good, but they should be.
It should be really good. But that's awesome. That's really cool. And something that I haven't seen before. That's really unique. So thanks for sharing that with us. And so another question, what is, really big question, I guess. So you're doing well now. You're kind of flooded with some cases, but really what's the next 2 to say 5 years? What's your plans for growth? Where do you want to be? What's next on your radar?
Well, I mean, we do, like I said, we do a lot of criminal and family law. I guess next on the radar in the next 2 to 5 years is to probably we're in the process of maybe we have of counsel and attorneys that are working with the firm, but probably having younger lawyers who are hungry and looking to expand their practice or get into this type of work. It's a litigation heavy, and we have a problem managing, all the calls that we get. So, we probably would be looking at expanding to add an attorney here in the near future. So that's kind of what's on the radar. I mean, I plan on practicing at least another 20 years. I'm in my mid 40s, so I'm not wearing down. I feel like I'm hitting the prime. And so I plan on going at least another 20 years. So that's our next 2 to 5 year window.
Excellent. Great. Great plans for expansion, and makes complete sense. So, yeah, I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 next year. So,
Oh,
just getting warmed up. We're not done yet.
no. It's the new 40s is the new 30s. So
That's right. Well, that's excellent. So it sounds like things are going well, and I'm happy that you got calls coming in, and that's a good problem to have. So kudos on that, and then the awards and all the other things you're getting. It sounds like you're doing great work, which it'll lead to more growth. That's bottom line. So uh, good part on that, and kudos to you for doing those things. Other than your website, I got your phone number down here too. Other attorneys listening, other or law students, managing partners, people maybe in the Louisville area or Kentucky that maybe could be referral partners, other types of firms. Um, Other than the website and this, is there any other better way to connect with you directly or get a hold of you?
the website is a good way. Also, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, Twitter, but I don't do a lot of tweeting. The easiest way to get a hold of us is the website, like I say, www.tibbslaw.com. Our other phone number is 654-TIBB, 502 area code. That's the best way to get a hold of us. And I think any tidbits for young lawyers, I would say, is, I practiced 11 years as a public defender, and I have a business background, a master's of business degree, as well as a business management degree. And I still feel like running your own business is so much to learn from the marketing standpoint, the accounting standpoint. You spend so much time as a marketer, a bill collector, an accountant, and then you get to law. And so what I would tell the young lawyers is don't just learn the law. You need to learn the law, but you also got to learn how to run the business and how to market yourself. Because if you don't do those other things, the law part won't matter because you won't survive. If the bills aren't getting paid, it doesn't matter if you could be Clarence Darrow of law, but you're not keeping the lights on. And so you disappear. And so, and if you don't market yourself, you're not going to get people in the door, and your phone's not going to ring. Then it doesn't matter how much law you know. So those are all the things you really have to work at both ends of it.
Yeah, great tip. And I think a lot of lawyers that I talked to when they started were like, I didn't realize that I was actually becoming a business owner at this, and they don't really teach you that in law school. They don't teach you how to run a business and accounting and hiring and firing and all that stuff. So yeah, it's tough running a business. Everybody, I know, I run a business agency, and most people, oh well, you got it made. You get to do anything you want, and it's hard work, and there's a lot of learning every day. So.
No, I would just, and I know maybe towards the end, I was just gonna say yes. I probably worked hard on law school, but I could just tell you this: I normally leave my office about 6:30, 7 o'clock every night, and I'm here at 8:30 and 9 every day. And I even work on weekends, answer the phone calls. I mean, we run a 24/7 practice, so someone is answering the phones, our office, and we're getting back to people as quickly as we can. And so it's nonstop. So if people think, oh, you run your own business, I'm in private practice, and I could just take off when you want, it doesn't work that way.
That's right. This isn't a 9 to 5.
No.
You got to do more than that. So yeah, excellent tip. Completely agree. And and I think that's with any business. You gotta commit and be prepared for the ride, and listen to people that know more than you, and try to get there faster if you can. But great tips, great story. I love the bourbon, Louisville.
Thank you.
It's great. Guys, go check out his website, connect with him, and I'm sure he'll happy to chat with you. If you want to stay on, we'll wrap up and
okay. Thank you.
Backstage for a few seconds. Everyone, thank you for joining us. If you're watching right now, a little bit later in the day on the East Coast, Krsna's episode will be up on YouTube as of right now, and my LinkedIn profile. We'll also have the audio version soon up on the podcast. And then we'll have a featured page on our website at arraylaw.com/podcast. So look for that. And if you need help with marketing like Krsna was talking about, you need someone to help you with that. That's what we do. We do digital marketing for law firms. That's all we do. Please reach out. Reach out to me directly, personally, or just go to our website, arraylaw.com. Krsna, thank you so much.
Thank you,
We'll
Kevin.
talk again in a few, and everyone else have a great day.
All right. Thank you.